Hello. I'd like to take a few minutes to talk about the course closing module for you. So let's have a look. All right, so this is the course closing module. So the point of this assignment is to really think about how can we use digital tools in a variety of contexts to support equity, accessibility, and inclusion. So I think in this course we have people who teach in all of these different formats. Many of you in K-12 are most certainly doing face-to-face. A lot of you are actually in a hybrid situation where you are using some online tools but still seeing your students every day or every 2 days or what have you. And some of you who are teaching in higher education, and we certainly have several of you in the course doing that, might be teaching fully online or also in some kind of hybrid situation. So for me, when I think about my own use of technology over the years to sort of support equity and accessibility, for me, for example, I've done 2 master's degrees and my PhD through distance education. So if it weren't for distance education and the use of technology, I wouldn't have been able to enhance my career in this manner. And so I like to point out to people that technology, if we can't bring students to the classroom, these different technology tools allow us to bring the classroom to the student, which I think goes a long way towards a social equity, a social justice, and what I like to call a pedagogy of freedom, of allowing people to improve their lives through education. It also does a great job to support inclusion, including everyone in our classroom. One simple example I use is around the use of discussion forums in hybrid classrooms. So I did some research several years ago in which I was using discussion forums in a hybrid situation, and I found that the students loved to be able to share their ideas in a discussion forum before the class actually met. So I would give them a few days, give them a question, they would share their answers and ideas, debate and discuss those in the discussion forum, get good feedback. So when we came into class face-to-face, they had already had their ideas vetted, they had some feedback, and they were able to then much more clearly articulate their thoughts on the particular problem or question at hand. So in this case, this digital tool was a great tool to allow a much greater sense of inclusion across the entire student body. So before I go on, let me just jump down here and say, who are you doing this for? So the audience down here for your autoethnographic presentation is your colleagues, or are your colleagues in this course. So you're going to share with them some of the highlights of what you learned in this course. And on that note, I really recommend that you take the time to look at some of your colleagues' presentations as well. They may look at some similar tools that you've looked at, but from a very different perspective. So I think it's, to me, this is a highlight of the course, is a chance to see what your peers have done. So what are you going to do? So it talks a little bit here about the assignment format, and it says, how can you create a multimodal experience for your audience, for your peers? So as I've said several times throughout the course, the medium is the message. So the way you present your ideas is almost as important as the ideas that you are conveying. So the tools you use, the graphics you use, the language you use, and even the activities or actions that you use to share that information is all part of what your students or your audience is learning from you, not simply the ideas that you are sharing. And I'll encourage you to think about that when you are implementing some of these tools in your classroom. For this assignment, it's only a 10-minute presentation, so you are a bit more limited in the multimodal experience that you can create. So what I'm really interested in 10 minutes is, what tools did you explore? So you had several different types of assignments. What tools did you find yourself using to be able to convey your ideas or share your thoughts develop the medium or media that you are using to convey your ideas. How are your experiences with the tool connected to the literature? So you should be able to cite some of the literature that we read and how that might support the tool or the use of the tool. And you can look at some of these other sections, but one key one is, what are implications for practice? So from your work, what are some of the implications that you might take away into your classroom? So depending on the tool or tools that you are discussing, how might you bring those into your classroom to benefit your students or benefit your pursuit of, where did it go? Equity, accessibility, and inclusion. So I'll leave you with that, and thank you very much.